And now for something completely different.
Welcome to Let's Draw to the Hot Takes. I'm your host, Stephen Andrew, and this is the show where a friend and I go to the movies and I draw to our hot takes. And for anyone wondering where our regularly scheduled programming is on this channel, it's still coming. This little spin-off show is a way for me to talk about movies in the current year while staying on brand. Since 2010, by way of ranking system, I've always had a favorite movie of the year. I rank every movie I watched that year till one movie comes out over all the other ones, and that movie becomes favorite movie of the year. So please join me while we try to find favorite movie 2022. So we're watching and drawing to the hot takes of The Tragedy of Macbeth. When Macbeth, Thane of Glamis, is told by three witches that someday he'll become king, he resorts to murder to make his prophecy come true. But can he hold the crown, fighting enemies outside his door and inside his mind? The movie was directed by Joel Cohen, starring Denzel Washington, Frances McDormand, and Dudley Dursley, excuse me. Dudley Dursley. Kage.
Hi.
Ooh, what are you doing here? Are you blocking me now?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I'm doing it with you.
All right. Well, welcome back. We are super excited to have you here on the show.
I know. I heard the applause from the other room of the studio.
How do you feel about being the first person back?
Fantastic, man. Who else would you have? You know?
I'm
just fantastic.
You are fantastic.
I read the comments.
All two of them?
Yeah. Chanting encore. We need Kage back.
Okay. Well, back by popular demand, I guess, is Kage.
Mm-hmm.
He's our resident young person on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And we are super excited to have him today. We are here to talk about The Tragedy of Macbeth. Which did technically come out last year in December 2020, but I saw it today. We saw it today.
Yes, we did.
This is the first movie I've seen all year.
Whoa.
Huh? Oh,
Whoa.
I know. You're here for it. That's so exciting.
You're nervous?
I know. We were talking about you being nervous, and now I'm nervous. Obviously, it's an adaptation of the famous Shakespeare play of the same name.
Macbeth.
Macbeth. Oh, you're right. It's not the same name. All right. So before we kind of get into general reviews about the movie, tell me, how old were you when you were exposed to William Shakespeare?
I was in 7th grade, so 11 or 12.
Okay. Which honestly was not that long ago.
No.
Okay.
I'm 19 now.
Okay.
So if you are above 18, hit me up.
All right, so you told me before we went to go see this movie that Macbeth was your favorite Shakespeare play.
Yes, it is my favorite because out of all of the Shakespeare plays that I've read, it is the most violent, and that draws my attention towards it more than something like Taming of the Shrew. That's pretty boring. Shakespeare, get your act together. You like that? Get your act together.
I learned about William Shakespeare in 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
When you were in school, do you remember getting those catalogs for Scholastic?
Yeah, the book fairs?
Yeah. And we got one, and in it was required for reading that we had to buy we had to buy books for our Shakespeare section of English class.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom would never order me books from that catalog, but I specifically remember getting to order those books because it was a class assignment. My mom ordered them. The two books in there were Romeo and Juliet, and the other one was A Midsummer's Night's Dream.
Mm-hmm.
So we went over those and we did those. But then for 5th grade, which I don't know I wonder if it might be a little too young to be.
Maybe.
So we put on a Macbeth play in fifth grade.
Mm-hmm.
That I was cast in, well, because everybody's cast in fifth grade, and I did kind of ruin it. I played the role, the small 2-page role of Seward. I remember the kid who played Macbeth, and I was so jealous of him because I wanted to be the lead. Like I was a little ham in elementary school, and I wanted to be Macbeth, and he got it. He was supposed to kill me, but we never like really choreographed a fight. Like we just kind of in class, like we didn't really do staging. I don't really remember doing any staging. I just remember that we would like kind of basically read it, and so we never like rehearsed a fight or anything. So we got in like a sword fight, and then the narrator goes, and Seward dies, or whatever the cue is. Yeah. But like, oops, sorry. All right, but Macbeth didn't actually hit me, and I was like, you didn't hit me. And I was my dumb fifth grade self, like totally broke character and was like, you need to hit me. And then Macbeth was just like, get down. And it lasted, I don't know how long it lasted, but needless to say, I was the greatest part of the show because nobody's going to remember a fifth grader's performance of Macbeth, but they all remember the kid who ruined the fifth grade Macbeth play. I will say that I liked the movie. But I have a confession to make.
Okay. Go for it.
I feel like for me, as a hack artist / aspiring writer, I feel like I should love Shakespeare, and the truth is, I don't.
That's respectable.
But the thing is, like, I love the idea of loving Shakespeare. Just if that makes sense. Yeah. I want to be a person who appears deep and like Shakespeare, but I don't actually. Well, I like the stories. Let me say that. Like, I think with this movie, I did like it, but at the same time, I think you and I both left saying like I think it should have been 30 minutes shorter.
Yeah, it was pretty drawn out for what it was.
Yeah. And I wonder too, because it's an adaptation of a Shakespeare play, and obviously William Shakespeare has his diehard fans. And if I'm honest, like I would just like to watch a Shakespeare movie where it's like the same story, but they didn't use his his poetry. Like his like word for like just
because it was word for word. It was like the exact script from the book.
If they would just use like just change the dialogue to like kind of regular, keep some flourishes in. I feel like with a movie like this, when you're spending 5 minutes to communicate like a single emotion, like right. I feel like if I was watching an actual stage adaptation of it, like it would be different. Yeah. But we're like at the movies and I'm like having to pee, like I'm holding it and I'm like watching it and I'm waiting for the next thing to happen.
And they're talking to themselves in about 5 minutes, and it's just.
There were a couple of scenes where I thought it actually really worked. And I do think that all the actors in this movie do an incredibly good job with the material. Denzel Washington is like serving like 10 out of 10. Yeah. Like he's entertaining, like he delivers everything great. Lady Macbeth does too, and
Bird Lady.
The cinematography here in this movie, done by Bruno Del Benel, who's actually a big cinematographer in a ton of movies. He did Amelie, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which is my favorite Harry Potter movie.
Same.
Most recently, The French Dispatch. Visually, like, it looks cool.
Yeah,
like,
it was really good, and especially for being black and white. It was really cool. Yeah. And they got everything down to a science. Yeah,
the way that they did the editing and the way that they did the just the way that they did the shots, and I thought, I was like, it looks cool. Like honestly, it's probably going to be the coolest movie I see all year. I don't know. We'll find out. I think that it benefits the material. I think that when we watch movies, we sort of want things to be sort of more realistic. And since the dialogue is fantastical, I think it helps set that the way that the movie's shot and how it's done is also
Right.
fantastical.
Right.
You and I both agreed that. I was like, this was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Would you watch it again?
No,
No.
I will not watch it again.
Yeah, me neither. It was definitely an experience, and I'm glad that I had it. But there were definitely times when I pulled my phone out, which is
Yeah, I was on my phone too.
it's not good.
Well, and don't get mad because the theater was pretty much empty. You know, there was no one around us, so
Yeah.
don't come at us in the comments. I will fight you all.
Well, I'm gonna check my text messages because
Mhm.
you know this person's going on for 5 minutes about
In one emotion.
an emotion.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that like I honestly really do believe this movie is an hour
40 minutes.
and 105 minutes the running time is, but I genuinely think it would have been a stronger piece if they cut out like 20 minutes of it
Yep.
and they kept the pace a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
That being said though, like I do think it's great.
Yes,
I do think it was really cool. Are you glad you saw it?
I am. It was a really well-made movie, a really well-made play for how minimalistic it was. And even though it was black and white, you could like visually and imaginatively like see everything in color and like in real life. And so I thought it was really well done. It was just a little too long. But I'd give it like 4 to 5 stars.
For something to have 4 out of 5 for me, you need to be able to watch, like it needs to be rewatchable.
Okay.
But see, I know that could be a whole argument, like
Mhm.
that could be a debate
Mhm.
in and of itself.
Yeah.
At the same time though, like I don't disagree with your score because I kind of want to give it the same.
Yeah. Well, and then for me, I don't really rewatch a whole lot of movies too. So
So I want to give it I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars as well.
Mhm.
Even though I can't speak for Shakespearepedia or whatever the name of the Shakespeare fandom is.
right.
But I know for me, like as an average moviegoer and a semi-casual Shakespeare fan, like I think that it's a really cool piece of art. I would never watch the whole thing, but I could definitely see myself YouTubing scenes from it, like just to rewatch and just to see how the director like filmed them and did them. Like I think I'm honestly more fascinated by the behind the scenes in it, like taking a look at it. If you're like if you're a Shakespeare purist, I feel like maybe you might really love this movie because it doesn't cut out like what we had
Right.
talked about. You might just devour like all the content and just all these things that people are saying. So I don't know who I would recommend this to. All right. Well, that was the Tragedy of Macbeth. Thank you so much, Kage, for coming back.
You're welcome.
We'll definitely have you back again.
You need me back.
As far as movie rankings for the year go, for favorite movie of the year, right now, and I rank these by when I see them in the year. I know it came out 2020. Obviously, this is number 1. It's the only movie I've seen.
Yeah.
So, but please stay tuned. All right. I'm not your dad. Bye.
Bye.
Do you know what you want to do for dinner?
No, it's up to you.
Oh, dang it. Why is it
Whatever you
always
wanna
up to
do.
me? Yeah, but
You did say Popeyes earlier.
I don't know if I'm like chicken hungry though.
That's respectable.
We'll see.
Oh yeah,
Do they have good dessert at Popeyes?
I've never had dessert at Popeyes.